From the Fox Studios in downtown Panama City, it's News View with Lee Sullivan.
Let's talk about your endangered freedoms. News and views with an attitude.
Good evening. It's a News View. I'm Lee Sullivan. Thank you for allowing me in. Opportunity to visit with Ronald Hart, syndicated columnist, libertarian, humorist, and author. No such thing as a pretty good alligator wrestler. Kids, politics, and family. Why Daddy drinks. Hey, listen. You'll like it. You'll like it a lot. The Super Bowl brouhaha. Best to say nothing. That's my chapter. That's my chapter. You enjoyed that?
I enjoyed writing it. I don't know as much people hate reading, I'm sure, but no, it was fun to do. It was actually fun to do. It was a good exercise, good discipline. It's sold out the first edition. It's done well.
Gone through your first print then?
Yeah, I've done.
Amazon.com?
Available on Amazon or my website. It's done well. It's a collection of columns, but it's basically you can write. You have 700 words a week. I'm in 45 papers. They're all about 700 words they give you to write. I went longer on the major subjects, that are important to people today. God, guns, and gays seem like that's the most important subjects that the most firepower goes around. It was also my high school prom theme, so I know a lot about it. So I grew up in God, guns, and gays.
That's totally wrong.
Yeah, I know.
I like it.
We know the most about it. So if you mention God, guns, or gays, you're going to get the most reaction from most people, and abortion. I didn't throw that in there, but those are the subjects I've found in writing columns over the last 7 years that evoked the most emotion. Yeah, everybody has a very strong opinion on that. So,
well, speaking of that and strong opinions, Mr. Milk, the California guy, if I may say, guy.
Harvey Milk.
Yeah. They made a national holiday for him or something?
Yeah, California. And only in California could they do that. They have a national state holiday for Harvey Milk, the gay activist, who knew? I mean, I suggested they perhaps during the Harvey Milk Day get rid of the national anthem and do It's Raining Men or maybe YMCA or something the village people come in and do in schools. So they are honoring a slain gay activist out there in California. They wonder why they're going broke. So I don't know. It's crazy.
Have we become so politically correct or so driven to be politically correct that we've just lost all sense of our compass, our integrity, our right and our wrong? I mean, where are we, do you think, Ron?
I think Obama comes from a mindset of not offending anyone. So if you don't offend anyone, then how do you point out the problems in the world? I mean, you and I can sit out at the Atlanta airport or the Panama City airport with a cooler of beer and watch those people come through TSA and say, check him.
Right.
You and I would know who to check.
Right.
It's common sense. Instead, they're frisking, Maud Wilson from, Akron, Ohio.
The 8-year-old Cub Scout.
It's awful the way they do it. I mean, it's no common sense applied to any of this stuff, and they're fearful. And the biggest problem is Obama comes in and he goes after the CIA people for waterboarding or torture, trying to find this narrow universe of torture, of which they believe was legal. But Eric Holder's spending time going after CIA, patriots who were trying to get information from Al Qaeda. I mean, if you're sitting there, you're a TSA person. Bomber gets 5 years. If you're the Nigerian bomber, you get 5 years in prison for the bomb. You get 10 years in prison for racial profiling. I mean, there's more prison time to be done by someone who exacts the laws wrongly against the people, hurt somebody's feelings.
You got the 3 Navy SEALs that their transgression is, they catch the people that kill the people, and so now they are subject to being charged because he's been hit, punched.
Well, it's not only that. So they charge them, but then what's the timid nature of the future people in the CIA? They're scared to do anything. What is the rule? You got nothing but downside. You lose your job. There's no high fives if you do well. So you send a message to where even I said in a column recently about the CIA and their bumbling of the Nigerian bomber in Detroit. I said even crazy people aren't scared of the CIA anymore.
Right.
I mean, they bumbled so badly, and they just got to coordinate. And that's not their nature. They're good people that go into that, and they want it. You are law enforcement. They're good people, but you got to unchain them. You got to give them some rope, and they're going to make mistakes. Look, it's a dangerous business, but you got to give them some room if they make some mistakes because they're erring on the side of the citizens. So Obama's in the wrong direction. I don't know why he thinks the world's so bad. He's a product of affirmative action. He's been nothing but treated well in this country, and all of a sudden he thinks he's some great wrong person who's getting back at the man or something. I don't quite understand his mindset.
Well, we are, I mean, and we talked about this on a previous show, but we're all about creating enemies within ourselves. We're all about denigrating one group and finding the group that's most popular for us to hate.
Yeah.
And he personifies that. I
Yeah.
mean, he brings that to its epicenter.
Right. He doesn't want anyone to be. Well, look, there's a lot of common sense in, stereotyping is the wrong word, but there's a certain amount of common sense in looking at the terrorists. There's been 36 terrorists that have attacked the United States, been involved in attacking the United States. A lot more Arab men, 18 to 30. Half were named Muhammad. I mean, if that's okay, but you can't use that to profile or narrow your universe of which you're going to check on people and put on the no-fly list. I mean, it defies common sense. And if we don't have any common sense in government, where do we go from here? Where's our
I think we're on the way.
I think we're on the way too, and sadly, he's leading the band.
Yeah, I think we're on the way.
Yeah.
Well, where do you see us going collectively as a country? I mean,
It's the word collective.
Right.
Atlas
Socialism.
Shrugged, you know,
Ministry of Truth.
I encourage people to reread Atlas Shrugged. If you haven't read it, read it the first time. It's a great template for the way the world may be going, where government takes control. They're very self-important. They seem to almost insist upon themselves. They insert themselves in Atlas Shrugged where they're not wanted. They impede entrepreneurs. They impede industry. They have egos. They have no productivity. They have no value added. All they do is slow down the system by taxing and getting in the way.
And the regulators in that novel take over, and the producers drop out.
Yeah, the producers move to someplace else.
So it collapses within itself.
And even when Atlas Shrugged was written in the 50s by Ayn Rand, it wasn't a global economy there. The United States had a monopoly on the United States business. Now we're in a global economy. They can move quicker into another country very, very fast. Currencies flow between countries. Money's fungible. A union comes up in, let's say, South Alabama, in a plant in South Alabama. You know what? They're in India next month.
Right.
It doesn't take them very long to go over there.
Right.
And you impose health care on them, on the owners of the business. They got to provide health care. They got to pay union benefits. They got to do all these things. What do? They send labor overseas.
So they don't necessarily leave by their own volition. It is the economics that force them to find the lowest tide.
Right. Economics drive everything. Don't kid yourself. Supply and demand drives everything in America. An entrepreneur is in the business of business. They're in the business. They're not altruistic. They shouldn't be altruistic. They can become altruistic if they sell their company for $1 billion and want to give it away. But the business is in business to make a product which the market demands. There's nothing more fair, democratic, non-racial, non-discriminating than a product, because you lay it out there, and if people buy it, you got the best product. It don't care if you're black or white. It don't care if you're Michael Jordan in the NBA or you're some Serbian 7-foot center. Whoever the best player in the NBA plays. That's very democratic. Same way in business. If you're a business person, the market votes every day on your product. They either like your product or they reject your product. They reject your product, you go out of business, unless, of course, you're GM,
Right.
and then you're propped up by the government because you got unions.
Ron Hart, don't go away.